All right. Welcome, everybody. Good to see all of you. Thank you for being here today. We won't keep you long as people are logging in. Good to see everybody there. I wanted to have the opportunity to host a quick little, kind of Q&A with Jessica, and obviously we're going to make it interactive. I know that there's some of you are also Cyber Recruiter clients, so we wanted to Q&A interaction about Cyber Recruiter, also for people that are thinking about getting their own Cyber Recruiter. We wanted to do some Q&A and explain a little bit about what Cyber Recruiter is all about, and answer any questions that you have about that, as well as give you have Jessica share some tips and tricks that have been effective for her. So that is the purpose of our webinar today. So with that, let me just introduce Jessica. Most of you know her, right? Most of you are team leaders here that are on the call, I can see. And Jessica has been a team leader. I don't know if a lot of you know this, but she's been a team leader for over 10 years. In two different
17. Don't cheat, 7 years.
Trying to make you younger. Okay. 17 years in two different markets. I mean, that's I don't know how many team leaders in our company have been a team leader for 17 years. That's pretty unbelievable. So she's got a lot of knowledge, as all of you know, and I want to just have an interaction with her about what she's experienced with this program and what's making it work for her. Because you can see that on the screen. Last year, she recruited 175 agents directly from her Cyber Recruiter, who set appointments for her. So,
and that's about 75 to 80% of the appointments were set through the ISA.
There you go.
So we recruited more than that, but those are what I would say is because of my ISA, what we were able to accomplish.
Yep. I think you recruited just about 200 gross agents last year. So again, like she said, 80% of those hires came from her partnership with her Cyber Recruiter, which is pretty phenomenal. I think you would all agree, just to have those kind of numbers in general. So Jessica, do you want to maybe just kind of share more about that? Because you were one of the first early adopters 10 months ago when we launched this program to hire, your Cyber Recruiter.
Yeah, and actually before that, I had played around with other folks, some part-time ISAs on the side. I didn't have the results I'm having with Cyber Recruiter, but I've been playing around with this, and I'm going to be totally transparent. I'm a very relational team leader. I love on my people love me, and I get a lot of referrals, and that's what my general lead generation sweet spot is. And yet there was a big gap of cold calling. And when I would get to the phone, I'd be like ready to throw up, not wanting to do it and not feeling good about it, not feeling good at it. And it was just such a void in what we could be doing and the number of leads we could be creating and the number of conversations and opportunities we could have had. And so by leveraging this way, I was able to level up and hit the numbers that we're hitting. Still doing calls. I of course make calls. It's just not my primary focus. And the calls I'm making are warm calls from referrals that I've earned from being a great team leader, loving on my people, having an impact on their business, all those things that we commit to doing when we're recruiting someone in. Delivering on that takes time. And so then it's like, where's the time to do this? So it's magically amazing how I sometimes never had time to make phone calls. But, again, it was just me getting more dialed into what I love and I'm great at, which is helping my agents increase their profit, increase their time, have a better life. And that's how I earn all my referrals. And yet then I've got my ISA who is phenomenal on the phone, energized by being on the phone, helping me get that much more opportunity. And I think that's why I have longevity in the role. I really do.
Yeah. So. And so of the, somebody that recruits 200, gross agents last year, how many appointments are you doing a week? I mean, what does that typically look like?
We're setting about 60 appointments a month, or actually setting probably about 75 appointments a month. So we're hitting still to 40. You know, we're still struggling to hit 40, guys. It's not like it's like we're perfect by any means, but I grossed 25 with my ATL this month. So we're even seeing more of a tsunami effect with this month over month over month, because truth be told, we started this in March, right in the beginning of COVID. And it took us a few months to get dialed in together, and then we were off and running. It took 2 months to really get into a really good rhythm. And then we've just kind of grown and grown and grown from there and gotten better and better and better together. And now we're really seeing a tsunami, because not only can our ISA help us set the appointment, but they confirm the appointment, they reschedule the appointments, they also put notes in for us into command, and they also help us with follow-up from time to time if we feel ourselves sliding in that category. So one of the benefits of having an ISA that actually knows command and knows how we roll is I don't have to teach them any of that. They know how to do all of that. And they're able to switch gears with me because I have control over their calendar. It's not an ISA that I hope sets me a couple appointments every month. It's an ISA that's working with me in tandem and rolling with us during the week to get as many people in as possible within a, in a purposeful way.
Yeah. So speak to that a little bit, because that's important. I had worked with 4 or 5 ISAs myself before we started Cyber Recruiter, which is primarily why we did that, because it was so frustrating. How are you creating that kind of synergy, accountability? Every Cyber Recruiter I know submits an end of the day report so that you can literally see how many hours they spent on dialing, what they spent on whatever things, other tasks you have them doing, command, social media, whatever that looks like. How do you maintain that not only relationship but accountability for as long as you have been doing that, and now have 25 gross for the month of January to start the new year?
So this is a really important part. This is probably the most important part for those of you that have an ISA and you're not having these results. This is probably where you're having stress or may need to kind of dial things in. You need to talk to each other every day. So this is not about hiring someone and magically having an appointment set and not talking to them. We are a team. We're a family, and truth be told, we honor each other's wins. And this conversation is not long, but on Mondays we're on the phone for a full 30 minutes. We start with looking at the numbers first and kind of say, how did we do last week? And there's always a story there. So if the numbers are slipping, what challenges did you run into? What objections did you run into? What was different about this week than last week when you had more appointments? We kind of evaluate that. And it's not like we're interrogating each other or interrogating each other. We're just saying, what do we do different? Or was it just kind of an off week? But we don't get too far behind when you evaluate that. And we do that every Monday. And then every day, either I or my ATL jump on with Zeke. Damari more frequently than I because of our schedules, and yet we both don't need to be on every day. And sometimes it's just a text back and forth, or it's a call like, hey, I'm having this challenge. But whatever he needs, we know at 11 o'clock Eastern is when he starts. That's when we're getting on together, and we just kind of launch the day. So we start with putting the numbers up, not to be mean-spirited or anything. It's just our reality, and we interrogate our reality of like, is this working? What's not working? Maybe that script we tried really didn't have as much impact as we thought it was, and so we evaluate as a team, and we also give Zeke feedback, like, guess who joined, and so he's like, yes, cool, so you can see the wins too. So that lifts him up, and we work as a group. And we also evaluate like what's working, what's not. And sometimes he'll say, hey, why don't you make me a video for that? And we can collaborate. So Monday's our collaboration day. And yet every day of the week at 11 o'clock, we get together, maybe all 3 of us or just 2 of us. And yet we just check our numbers and check at the door. And that's really important.
So let me ask you this question. Obviously we've been dealt this, the whole world's been dealt this curveball of with COVID and working virtually, and we've all adjusted in different ways around that. What's your feeling and your thought when we get back to whatever normal is going to be at some point, when people are back in the office more frequently? What's your opinion on on how an ISA and how are you thinking that you're going to go back to maybe more traditional methods of hiring staff to help you recruit? Because I know that's what you've done over the years. Or stick with more of this virtual type of an option of having an ISA moving forward when things return to normal, whenever and whatever that means.
I don't see things ever going back to what they were. And Florida's a little looser than most states. So most people are acting like COVID what? So it's not like a big objection handler for people wanting to come into the office, but they're just choosing not to. So they're choosing to meet with me by Zoom almost 100% of the time. So things that I've had to do and adapt is like I have a dual monitor, and on my second monitor here, all the things that I would show are already pinned so that during a recruiting appointment, I'm not in front of them with a computer or a display, but we're doing the appointment that way. So I've adapted, but I don't see it going back.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So let me just go through a couple things and then we'll open up some questions. So Cyber Recruiter, here's just some sample job duties. Every market center has their own individual needs of what, a Cyber Recruiter can do for you. But again, what we do is we customize the hiring based on what you need them to do. If you just want them on the phone, great. If you want them to handle social media, super. You want them to create marketing pieces and recruiting pieces for you in Command, awesome. You want them to handle all your Command, your database and manage all that and the smart plans and drip campaigns and all that stuff, cool. So whatever it is that you're looking to do, remember, we've got a lot of virtual assistants that really specialize in different things. We have great ones that are super for administration. We have a lot of them that are great for real estate agents and prospecting and helping them in their business. We have productivity backers that are helping with the Market Center and the Productivity Coach vet out Facebook Lead Accelerator leads and other lead systems to create those referrals in that dependent model. We have them that specialize in technology and Command that are trained on Command. If you needed somebody as a Command assistant or concierge, so they can do whatever it is that you want them to do. And that's something important to look at. So here's just a sample of some of the different things that we've come up with. We have them that call indies. We have them that call megas and cappers. I mean, there's so many testimonials that we have. You can go to the website at mycyberrecruiter.com and just look at some of the different testimonials. The one at the bottom is a client of mine, Tim Minix. His Cyber Recruiter honestly set 22 indie appointments in her first week in working with him. It's a game changer, for his office. He has 3 offices, and one office specifically was focused on indies only, and that's what he does. And his Cyber Recruiter focuses strictly on calling independent brokers because they have a lot of independents in his area of Texas, as an example. And you can see, as an example, you can see a lot of those. Kevin Jones above that, MAPS coach, 44 appointments in her first 20 days. David Jones, a lot of you know who he is, ex-Bold coach. He had 59 people show up in the month of August. You can just see those. Dana Cadena, and there's so many other top leaders in our company that we can get you in contact with if you have any questions on what's, who's involved and you want to hear it from them. Okay. So we also have a Cyber Recruiter client Facebook group that we put together where the clients can interact. We have almost 200 Cyber Recruiter clients, meaning 200 market centers are using Cyber Recruiters. So we have a pretty great group of leaders that share tips, ideas like Jessica and so on.
It's such a game changer. I mean, just think of all the change we are creating with KW alone. That all needs to be recommunicated. And you figure and even if you've messed with your caps or not, or whatever, if you added services, whatever, we've all changed, and everything's changed since COVID. And so I think if you look at the communication cadence we need to have out to the entire board at large right now, it's extreme. and it's going to create a lot of curiosity. And so just think, if you wanted to triple your bandwidth with someone calling behind you, you're just looking for the yeses. And, you know, who cares about the no's? Let's go for the yeses. And with so much change and turmoil going on in our industry, it's just like shooting fish in a barrel, real honestly.
Yeah.
Yes.
We also do a client mastermind that I do every 2 weeks, where you can see where we have great people like you all and our clients that can come on those masterminds. We do for 30 minutes, sharing best practices. So people like Jessica and others are sharing what they're doing, what's working, and we can all collaborate. So we have the Facebook group, we have a live mastermind that we do. Here's some of the statistics, and we've got all this data for those of you that are considering maybe picking up a cyber recruiter. You know, on average, of the almost 200 that we have working for market centers, I like to say that they can be setting, should be setting 2 appointments a day, 40 appointments. If we're figuring a 50% no-show rate, which is about what we see a reschedule rate, you're looking at 20, to 25 solid appointments a month is what you should be expecting. And, again, most of the cyber recruiters are calling R2s. So, I mean, they're experienced agents. We had 3,200, almost 3,300 appointments set in the holiday month, December, right? In just December, we had almost 3,300 appointments at the cyber recruiter set. I'm anxious to hear what the January numbers are, but I'm sure that those January numbers are probably, over 4,000. So it is a numbers game. It is a contact sport. And, we need to be making contacts. So this is a great piece of leverage for you to set appointments. It's $1,500 a month. There's a $750 setup fee that pays the people that recruit and train the cyber recruiters. There's no contract, for the first 90 days. It's a 90-day trial. You pay your $1,500 a month. You see how it goes the first 3 months. If it doesn't work for you, no problem, right? You can bow out anytime in that first 90 days. And you have the flexibility to interview your own people. So that's what we do. What we do is we basically go to our pool of candidates with the job duties that you want, and then we pair up 3, 4, 5 different interviews based on the profile of candidates that we have and what you're looking for them to do. And then you'll do like a speed dating, 2 or 3 minute interview with each of them. We send you a whole KPA package because they're all career visioned, right? And a quick little video of them, talking and speaking to you for about, a minute. And then you look at those and say, hey, I want to interview those 4 people or 3 people that we send over to you. We set up a time for you to do a Zoom speed dating kind of thing. And then typically you choose your person. And then you get started. We train them for about 10 days, 2 weeks, and then we go ahead and deliver them to you. So you have full control over who your partner is. And if for some reason it's not a match after you get going, we'll just go ahead and put you in front of 3 or 4 others, and you can go ahead and replace them. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. It's about a little less than 10% of the time. We'll have people that will swap their person out, and that's fine. Every cyber recruiter has a head coach, so they all have a head backer. So we're running this like we do in Keller Williams, right? And also like in MAPS, where we have a head coach, right? We have their, the coach, or in this case, the head backer, the cyber backer, they're KPA, they're career visioned, they're trained.
They also know how to use command, which is magic.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's basically, how it works. And again, we have cyber recruiters, we have productivity backers, which really are helping with that dependent model of vetting out the Facebook lead accelerator leads or other lead systems you may have to help vet out those leads and put them in command so you can start working that whole system that we've been talking about, that Gary's been talking about for the market centers. And then we have a lot of them for agents, cyber backers for agents too. Command backers are the technology piece of that. So we've got something for everybody depending on what your needs are. So with that, let me just open it up. Go ahead, Jessica.
can add that, I started this in March, but I've worked with others before. I worked with My Outdesk for years, and then I was with an independent, Kelly, that you introduced me to, and then now Zeke. So I've worked with great ISAs before, and you become like family. Like before Kelly, I had Etchell, and then I had Mary, and these folks I worked with for years. I mean, they became a critical element. So when I moved to Florida, I'm like, I want one of my people back. I need my person. And so, I was really struggling because I didn't have what I had dialed in with my previous market center. So, as soon as I put this in place, I was back to where I had always been. It was great. So you see instant results, but you can also see how by working together, you can really control or impact your show rate and your close rate. And we've gotten as high as an 80% show rate when we have certain things dialed in. And so we experiment a little and we share what's working. We also share what's not working, and we evaluate every week on Mondays. And as long as you keep doing that, you're good. And every now and then I'll have someone reach out to me and say, hey, my ISA isn't working out, and we'll just talk a few minutes, or I'll have them both jump on Monday and see how we interact. I've even recorded it so I can share it to others, so you can kind of see what kind of groove we get into. And you can really correct yourself if you get off target quickly. We've done that before where we kind of slipped out a gear, or weren't really looking at our numbers or whatever, and then had to maybe shift gears with our script so that it was creating opportunity and curiosity and appointments. So we shift gears every now and then, but know that you can get your show rate very high if you choose.
Yeah, awesome. What questions do you have? Anybody want to come off of mute and ask a question to myself or Jessica or both of us?
I have one, Rich. Hi,
Sure.
I'm Melissa, the Director of Talent for the Griffin Group out here in Tampa. A quick question. When the ISAs are calling, where are they getting the numbers and information for people to call?
Melissa, you can talk to me because we're in the same market, and I have
I
broker
know we
metric
are.
sites. Yes, I can pull your full market for you in an Excel spreadsheet of thousands and thousands of people with all their contact info.
I would love that, Jessica. Thank you.
So just so you know, so Melissa works for a mega agent, and they're growing their team, right? So they're hiring a cyber recruiter to build her team, right? And so that's what that was all about. So that's a whole nother area of opportunities. So think about it as a leader, right? Who of your agents are looking to really build? Who wants to build profit share, right? As well, I talked to one of my clients yesterday that he's got 2 of his agents that are top producers that are going to hire a cyber recruiter to build their profit tree as well as build their team and work with the team leader on that. So there's a lot of different things that you can do there. All right, who else has a question?
I do.
Go right ahead. Patrick, I think that was you.
That wasn't me, but I've got questions. Somebody else jumped in first. I'll be polite and let them go.
Okay, go ahead.
I had a question.
Go ahead, Zaide.
So Jessica, I wanted to just kind of see if you could walk us through your system of so from call from through the cyberbacker to the handoff and then what happens next. Could you just kind of give us an example of what that looks like?
Absolutely. And I don't know if I can screen share, but I can even show with command, but I'll just, we'll see if I can. And if I can, I'll just even show it to you. So we have a database in command. So we put it in command, but we put it on the agent side. So can you guys see my database, my command?
Yes.
Okay. So we started doing this before Command MC existed. So, and command, the agent side has more functionality than the MC. So we put them in both. I know that's a pain in the butt, but Zeke is doing this. And we have everybody in command agent marked as R1 or R2. And then as soon as he sets an appointment, he goes into command MC and sets the profile up again. He copies and pastes all the notes from all the text, all the notes, everything going back and forth. And then we work out of command MC once we're to an appointment. So then we would go in here and be able to look at a recruit and then move them through the system here. So that's from a command standpoint, that's kind of the process of that. And yet Beyond that, what we do is Zeke calls. I don't tell him who to call, he calls. So I don't micromanage him. I'm like, call R2s. That's all I know. And if we're winning in an office, so say I just pulled 2 agents out of Berkshire Hathaway or Remax, I'm like, hit them, hit them hard right now. So we just strategize on Monday and say, call or call these people. And then he runs with it. So there's no more management of him than that because he has the database right there. And if he starts calling people and has, a reason to believe that if he calls them a different time or another time that he'll get them, he tags them so that he can also warm call people and circle back. So he manages all that on his own. I don't get involved in that at all. And he sets the appointments. Now we have multiple people he's setting appointments for, not just myself. So he tags that person as the assignee in command, and he puts it on their calendar, and he does their appointment reminder. Zeke, we found that when he sets an appointment calendar reminder through Google with the link and all, we have such a better response than a really salesy email we used to send with the video. We actually were killing our own conversion because our script was like, Jessica doesn't want to recruit you, she wants to be your friend and earn your trust. And then we sent this cheesy email saying, we can't wait to meet with you. And it felt like a recruiting message. So we realized that when we looked at ourselves, we're like, oh my gosh, the script doesn't match the appointment confirmation email at all. And we were actually having a lot of people get cold feet and back away. When we stopped doing that, we had a way higher show rate. So just little things like that we share and keep track of. And then the appointment happens. So after the appointment, if they no show, if the appointment goes great, whatever, it's the recruiter's responsibility to shoot an email to Zeke, and then he manages all of that, putting our notes in and everything, whatever we typed basically in that email, he copy paste, put into command, and from that he knows what to do. Like, oh, they know it showed, let's go back and reschedule. Or they showed, but they weren't even on Zoom, they were on their phone and they weren't really serious, but now they're serious and they really want to meet with us again, so reschedule them. Or that was a home run and they're a 9, and so whatever it is, he tracks, but he also tracks, because we have our new paint by numbers, like you guys all have, he tracks there and one other spot. So he has a lot of tracking to do on his side, but we know as team leaders and recruiters that we're not really good at putting our notes in. So immediately after the appointment, I literally just open my phone to a Gmail and talk in the notes that I need to tell him, and he runs with it from there. So it works really, really well. What other questions do you have about that? Or do you want me to drill into anything more specifically?
Outside of the calendar invite, are you doing anything else that helps increase your show rate?
Yeah, for people that say no. So, people are like, no, I don't want to be recruited. There's a little video, and I probably can bring it up while Rich is talking, that I'll put in the chat. That's me saying, hey, I really wanted to meet with you. I'm so bummed that you didn't say yes. And I really don't. I'm not going to talk about recruiting you to Keller Williams. I want to build a relationship with great agents like yourself and plus you. And I've got some cool strategies on how to get listings, creative listings. So here's a little sneak peek, and I have like a couple links built in and say, so I seriously hope you say yes to Zeke next time. I'll ask him to call you back. And then we send that, and he does all this through Smart Plans. This is just a Smart Plan that's pre-created, a templated email that looks sharp with my video. And it's just me saying, hey, say yes next time, and kind of just calling him out. And usually he can get him to say yes the next time. And he already has it where he reminds himself in tasks to call like 2 days later. And they're usually like, okay, fine, I'll talk to her, and that really has increased our no's to maybes and our maybes to yeses. And,
I love that.
yeah, it's so simple. And it's just my personality saying, hey, seriously, come on, what do
I
you
love
have to
that
lose?
you have Zeke
Yeah.
doing all of that for you. So it's not like, hey, he's got to let you know and you got to send a video. It's just all in a Smart Plan.
No, and then I can look up in command and see, oh, he did send that email. Now we can't see everything because it's not perfect yet, but you guys, it's pretty darn good what we have right now. And yes, it's going to get better. So we'll be able to work out of the Command MC probably exclusively coming soon. And yet until then, we are working on both sides from the communication cadence. And I also, Zeke also puts them on a bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. So they see it a couple times, some of our tech. And he knows their home address because we're pulling the data from Broker Metrics. And then he picks 2 or 3 other hot areas in our market. And it's fun because you can see who's using our tech and who's on it and who's curious. So that's another clue. And so when he goes into the database, you know, to start with warmer calls, he can look and see who's been interacting with what we've been sending and then target his calls to maybe start there where they're probably a yes, probably curious yes.
You, there's a lot of people that are also recording a video for the no answers, because you figure that 75% of the people aren't answering the phone. So if the average cyber recruiter is dialing 90 to 100 dials a day, so if you're only connecting with 30 of those, there's 70 opportunities that you just hang up the phone, right? So what a lot of people are doing is recording a video, kind of like Jessica was saying, hey, sorry that we missed you. Here's why we were calling, and then you know, creating a reply. You know, we've got some great strategies that are working on our market to take listings, like Bob Smith, who took 10 listings in the last 30 days. Reply to this message if you'd like me to connect with you. Or, you know, maybe it's about family reunion or an event that's coming up. This is why we were calling. Let me know if you'd like to be included, kind of a thing. So now your cyber recruiter is actually touching or hitting 100 people a day versus 30 contacts, right?
And literally, like, you just make these in YouTube and list them as unlisted, or what is it? Unlisted, so no one can see your video. And I just give him the link and he will just say, and he's sending it like it's for me. It's like, hi, Jess here. I left you a voicemail. Here's what I wanted to show you. And like, I'll drop in a video of me showing how our leads work with Command, you know, and they're like, oh, interesting. So, you know, that's kind of the strategy we have. We haven't dialed that part in as well as some others have, but this chat video link I put in the chat has been working well for us, of turning a hard no to a maybe, or a maybe to a yes. And it's just me just saying, come on, it's me. So it works. You know, the more real you are, you guys, the more easy this is.
Absolutely. So when most of these scripts we're reaching out to do a business consultation, correct?
No, it's here. I'll just kind of give you my current script that's working the best. Hey, is this Patrick?
Yes, it is.
Patrick, it's Zeke, and I work with Jessica Fox, and she is so impressed with how you run your business. She asked for me to reach out and set up a time so that she can meet with you.
I'm really busy right now.
I'm sure you are. Based on your numbers, you're killing it. She wanted to give you a couple strategies on how to get more listings right now. Would you benefit from listings?
Absolutely. There's no listings out there right now.
Right. So she's got 3 creative ways that she's helping her agents get listings, and she wanted to share that with you in hopes, you know, to build a relationship with you. When would you have 30 minutes to connect with her by Zoom?
How about right now?
Great. I'll set it up for about 15 minutes. I'll text her now that you're ready to go.
Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah. And if you see the video, the link I just sent you guys to my video, you'll see in the description of the video, I have also 2 links, one for endless leads, and that's me showing the back end of Command with the leads. And then the second is Search 2.0, and it's me just showing how our neighborhoods are broken down, like Redfin's trying to do and Zillow's trying to do, and it's the new search. So I've got that, and I have, if you went to my YouTube channel, I had 1,700 views this month. I'm not that cool. I'm sorry, I don't even have that much interesting stuff to say, but that's all recruits checking my stuff out. And it's interesting because yesterday, this appointment that I got, she was so reluctant, and she looked me up, and then she called Zeke back and said, I want to meet with her. So having that stuff out there and being visible is important. So just think about how you're creating your own team leader curb appeal on the internet, because, you know, if you're out there and they see you, they're impressed by what you're sharing or saying, or, you know, and we have so much stuff to share. I mean, all you really need to do is just break down the models even, and you have instant credibility.
Love it.
So I have a
Questions?
question. Yes.
Go ahead.
So if the cyber recruiter is calling 90 to 100 people a day, they'd be done in 3 days in our market. So I'm in a very small market. We all know each other. So now a lot of the agents don't take my call, or email or text or whatever, they don't respond. So I'd love to hear, do you have anybody here that can speak to that? A small market where everybody knows everybody, they know why I'm calling, and I'm in relationship with the majority of them, but right now a lot of them don't take my call.
Yep. I go ahead, Jessica. You want to tackle that, or I can jump on?
I was gonna say, change your number from your ISA. We change our number all the time.
Do you? Well,
Oh, yeah.
and it's me doing the call, because I'm thinking if an ISA calls, they might be more likely to get in to talk to the agent as opposed to me
Well, and
calling.
the second thing to that is your value proposition of why you're going to meet with them has to be strong enough for them too. So, when you're in a smaller market, I was in a really tiny market. We had 800 agents in the board. And when I left Madison, 350 of them were in my office. So it was like, my only objection was you're too big, and yeah, it was kind of the same situation. Yet, you got to think like, what could the script be? What is the value proposition? What's the carrot that you're dangling? And that would a great coach like Rich could help you kind of identify that. And then that's the reason for the appointment, not to meet with you to join or change companies or whatever. It's about impacting their business. And I don't know what Rich wants to say on top of that, but it's really important that you're showing some value, because people are busy right now, especially now.
Yeah. So, changing the message. So really, let's look at Gary's 33 touch, right? We should be connecting with people once a quarter, right? So if there's only 30% of the people that are answering the phone, how long would it take them to connect with everybody in your market area, right? And if they did that once a quarter, that would be a great system. And so it could be, hey, Happy New Year. We're going through the first quarter. Wanted to invite you to family reunion. Maybe next month it could be, hey, thanks for the transactions that you had on AB Street and XYZ Street this last quarter. It could be, hey, mega camp. It could be, we got a mastermind. And it could be, let's get together for a mid-year review, business strategy session. So you just change the message, like Jessica said. And if you do the math, remember 90 to 100 dials doesn't mean 90 to 100 conversations, right? We're back to probably 25 to 30, depending on the answer rate. So that's going to take a while.
Okay.
I just think of like with indies right now, we have so much opportunity.
Yes.
Because we've got the pivot of Redfin and Zillow that they're also nervous about. And, one of the things I'm kicking around doing is once, because we're not ready to launch ours yet. It's kind of stalled right now, but we will be able to do it soon. And when we do, I see me really being impactful with a tsunami of appointments. And it could be as simple as me calling first and say, you're all indies in my market, and say, hey, it's Jessica Fox. And, I've really respected you in business. And I wanted to share some intel with you with some of the new disruptors hitting our market. As another broker that I really respect, I've spent hours gathering all this information on Dalton Wade and some of these new models that are popping up. And I want to know if you want to go grab lunch and talk about it. And then just have Zeke dial behind me, because I can make that initial call, right? And they'll probably go to voicemail anyway. And yet, wouldn't that be impactful for an indie and talk about a relationship builder? And so then I can have him dial in all behind me. And once we're able to do that, I intend to.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions? Hey, Dana. Any other questions? All right. Any of you that have cyber recruiters that are doing really well that might want to share a tip or thought or suggestion of anything that we missed or that's working for you?
I have a quick question / comment. I've been working with Cyber Recruiter since September, and it's been phenomenal. When truly being in touch every single day, that's the key. He's part of our stand-ups every day, and you're right, it's like they become part of the family. So, but the question I had is that my Cyber Recruiter does a phenomenal job setting appointments, and I'm curious, Jessica, if what the follow-up involvement is for your cyber recruiter. You have this great meeting, good relationship builder, but obviously they're not ready to join just yet. What's the role of Zeke versus your role going forward from there?
So basically, let's just say I had a great 30-minute chat with you and I got you from reluctantly meeting to me to curious. And that's really the whole goal, is really to expose one way that I can be impactful for you in your business. And so I'm going to start with, I've got lots to share with you, Alyssa. Tell me, if you could wave a magic wand and have one thing different about your business right now, what would that be? And, oh, you need listings. Great. And I'm going to go into a listing strategy like Remine. And I've got all kinds of different strategies that I've come up with. And I'll share one and say, what do you think of that? And you're going to be like, well, that was cool. Say, I have lots more, but I'd love to know you and your business more. Would you be willing to give me an hour? And next time we can kind of peel your business down and I can help you, fill in the gaps. And you say yes. And I say, great, Zeke's going to call you. And what I ask is that you give me your, your full attention. So I'm going to be screen sharing. I'm going to, have a really important conversation with you. So give me an hour and, make sure you can be in front of your computer, and Zeke will coordinate it so that if, you need to change the appointment time, whatever, you can just call him. We'll make it work. Let's do it as soon as possible. And you say yes. And then I hand it off to Zeke and he does that for me. Basically it. Very simple.
Thank you.
The other add is that you always want to end your conversation with the next step or the next appointment. So schedule it before they leave, right?
Yeah, there's always something scheduled before you hang up the phone or get off the Zoom. Even if it's, I'm going to send you something that I'd love you to review, and I'll follow up with a phone call. Say they needed to hire somebody and they didn't even know where to begin. And I had like a job description I could send them or something like that. I'm going to say, when do you think you could get that reviewed by, Alyssa? And then I'll follow up with you. So I'm always setting like what's next, and there's always something what's next. If there's not a what next, that's a bomb of an appointment.
I just wanted to share, I have had my cyber recruiter now, maybe 2 months, a lady. I'm with the Queens, New York Market Center. And a couple of weeks ago, she made a call I'm trying to build a commercial presence for our office, right? So not in addition to my regular calls, I'm actually giving her a list of people I'm targeting for commercial. $25 million producer, 60% of his business is commercial, picked up her call and said, yeah, absolutely. I would love to have a conversation with her. Conversation went very well. I did go in for the kill for a second appointment, and we just met Wednesday with our broker owner Lou here in person. And then my follow-up was I invited him to family reunion because I went through at least the existing agenda, and there was a class on converting a commercial tenant to a commercial buyer. And so I kind of used that as my, third follow-up call with him. So I think we also have to really know, Jessica's great at it. I'm only in the role 18 months, so I'm still learning. But just really knowing what it is that's going to make them want to talk to you. So.
Well, and I think one of the things is also showing it. So if you can't really see my setup, but if I go to my second screen, you'll see, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, up on the top left corner are all the conversations. So here's 30, 30, 40. I got them all right here. So when I'm talking, I can bring all this up, like what profit margins they should be having, everything. So, and I have technology.kw.com on at all times, basically. And I'm bouncing and showing, and I have my command open. So when I'm talking to someone, I'm just showing and telling. And often when you get a mega like that, it'll go from 2 or 3 Zooms to going to the office. And that's when they're definitely closed when they're coming into your office. So that's awesome, Gloria.
That is.
And it all started because I was like, it took me, I'm going to be honest, it took me, it probably got 8 months before I would even pick up the phone to call a $30 million producer. I was more comfortable, calling the $5, $6, $7 million producers. And when I got a cyber recruiter, I was like, she's like, I want to learn. I want to learn to call R2s. I was like, okay, I'm throwing you into the fire. This is a $25 million producer. See what you can do. And
That's awesome.
voila, you know?
Well, we're all different, you know, we have different personalities and different strengths and different phone power skills, but also the bandwidth for what you're good at. I mean, I can jump on the phone, but after an hour, I am zonked. You know, I'm just like, okay, I got that done. You know, to sit on the phone for 8 hours is a skill set, and it's that someone's wired to be able to do that, whereas some people aren't wired to be able to do that. And so Zeke's just 1,000% better than I am at it. And so I'm letting him win in his strength zone, and I'm winning in my strength zone by doing one-on-ones with my top 20%. And then at every one of those meetings, I'm doing a little bit of re-recruiting to our company and what we're doing next. But I'm also asking him, who are you working with right now that I can put on my radar? And hey, why don't you invite them to family reunion? And next, you know, that's my appointment that I created for myself. So I'm able to keep in the zone, in that zone that I love and that I get my bucket filled by, and that I'm having the most impact on my agents with. And yet we're hitting all this other stuff too. And truth be told, my mindset around this is just to make friends. And what happens is you make the friends. And what I do in my database is I call them a 5, 8, 9, or 10. A 5 is someone that went from no way, I don't want to meet with you on an appointment to, okay, I'll meet with you, where they're kind of neutral, you know. And like if I was to invite them to family reunion, they'd probably say yes, but they're not moving anytime soon, but I've got some good relationship brewing. I'm going to tell you the 5s have become my surprise because I'm continually marketing to them like I am my agent. So if I put something really good together for my agents, like here's a cool way to get a listing appointment or whatever, I share to my agents first because that's my fiduciary, is my own people first. And then secondarily, I just forward that same type of message to say, hey, I just shared this with my agents. I thought you would benefit as well. If you'd love a few-minute conversation on this, I'd be more than happy to go in greater detail. And usually there's a video embedded, and so much of my video is watched that way. And I'm just doing something generous to them. And truth be told, as soon as they have a difficult situation within their own brokerage, they're usually at the doorstep.
Yep, you got a great partner, and it's great leverage for you. You know, it's the thing is that, remember guys, recruiting is, especially experienced agent recruiting, is simply how quickly can you get into relationship with the people in your community. So if Zeke can shake all kinds of trees and put her in front of as many people as possible, then she's building her database. She's building just like a real estate agent, right? And the bigger that database, the better relationship you have with that database, the more transactions or the better recruiting results you're going to get. All right, other questions?
Can I ask a logistical question? So you have Zeke has his own staff account with your market center to have his own access?
We set him up before that even existed. So if you go under agent command, you can have 2 admin. I just set him up as one of my admin in there.
Okay.
That's it. Because then he doesn't need to be in Winmore or any of that. Because we ran into a problem where he didn't have a social security number, so I couldn't get him into Winmore.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, oh, great. We'll just set him up as an assistant. So he's like a fake assistant in my Winmore.
Does he have access to Market Center Command MC as well by doing that? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right, other questions, comments?
I just want to express my pleasure with having a cyber backer. He and I have been working very closely, I think, for like the past 3 weeks, and it's really become a really great partnership. You know, it's good to not feel like I have all of the answers yet. We're discovering together exactly how to create, you know, and achieve the goals. So I think that was my hesitation at first, where it's like, well, you know, I don't have it in place yet. And so, you know, how am I going to make this work? I don't know if I'm going to be able to, you know, have enough things for him to do daily. And, but it really has been a partnership where, you know, he's got some ideas and I've got some ideas, and we're just coming together to develop solutions for the goal. So
Yep.
I'm pleased.
And
One of the
just
things, sorry.
I was just saying, real quick, sharing your success, Zaide, because I have the pleasure of coaching Zaide, is her cyber recruiter in his first week working with her, because she was like, what do I have them do? And all that kind of stuff. Just cleaned up their new agent database and set 51 appointments to come to a career seminar that following week. In the very first
That's
week,
awesome.
you know, there's all kinds of things they could do. Go ahead, Jessica.
So what I did this year is I brought Zeke into my ALC retreat for a while and just shared with my ALC what we're doing. And now he's built a relationship with each one of my ALC members and is calling them on a certain date every month to ask them who they want on my radar. And that's so smart because, you know, we forget to ask. We're busy, 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 right? They're not thinking about it because they're busy, busy, busy. And we've gotten a lot more warm appointments that way. So he's not just cold calling, we're also working smarter by warm calling as well. And so I asked him, since I had already introduced him to my ALC, to call and ask who they want as their 10 people on their radar for guests for family reunion. And he was able to do that, put it in command, and then start making those calls. And we didn't have a huge response yet for that because I think the agents need to get involved in that invite process. But it's just like a little duh, like that's a good idea. So we just keep leveling up every month, like, okay, everyone should know Zeke. Zeke's part of our family. And my ALC is giving me probably more leads already this year than I had all of last year because someone's asking them and thinking about it. And he's just calling them. He's only called through once. So, you know, we're just going to keep that rolling.
Yep. So if you're challenged with staff or staff vacancies, we did the same thing in our market center when we had a vacancy and didn't have the bandwidth to make some care calls, invite some people to the team meeting, you know, things like that. All our team knew that this is my team leader's executive assistant, so as part of the team, and she basically was able to call through our roster and get people to come to some of the things that we had on the calendar because we didn't have the bandwidth, you know, to do that with the staff that I have. So kind of think out of the box with some of those things. This is your 40-hour-a-week personal assistant. All right. Any other last questions before we wrap up?
Thanks for everything you do, Rich. High five. I'm thrilled. My Geo is in the room here too, and he's my cyber recruiter and I adore him. And thank goodness, because 8 hours a day of calls, send help. That's his one thing. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody, for taking time out today. Thank you, Jessica. And we will see you soon. If you need anything at all, if you have any questions about it, just reach out to us. mycyberrecruiter.com. Go check it out. Contact Jessica. Contact me. We'll get your questions answered. Talk to you soon, everybody.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, guys. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.